Back now with Endgame and the shutdown over the concrete wall. Or is it a fence with slats or all of the above? Take a listen.
I'll tell you what it's going to be made of. It's going to be made of hardened concrete.
We're going to have a big, fat, beautiful door right in the middle of the wall.
It's going to be made out of rebar.
The solar wall, you have to have see-through. You have to know what's on the other side of the wall.
And steel. Steel slats.
Steel slats, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same.
Maybe it's a steel barrier or a wall, as President Trump tweeted yesterday. Hugh Hewitt, what is your level of patience on this stuff? You were a national security conservative. I know you're not happy about this sort of the upheaval. I asked Pat Toomey at what point, if this were a Democratic president, you'd be all over this person, right? You'd be criticizing the behavior and all this stuff. But there's been this hesitance. Why?
I am frustrated because so much has gotten done. 2 Supreme Court justices, 30 appeals court justices, massive tax cut, massive tax reform. We haven't even talked about the bipartisan prison reform on Monday, the Farm Bill on Tuesday, the Jerusalem embassy. President Donald Trump has a long list of accomplishments, but he does always seem to step on his story. And in foreign policy, the massive military rebuild is good if you keep Secretary Pompeo and Ambassador John Bolton in the room and listen to them. He's got a great national security team, Gina Haspel. He'll get a new good Secretary of Defense. He's got a great story to tell, and I was just watching Julian Castro. He can't beat Donald Trump. I'll take any bet anyone wants to make. He could not beat Donald Trump. They're not big enough. They're going to have to go after a long list of achievements and a huge personality.
But I go back to, can the president keep, how much more patience do sort of mainstream conservatives have?
I think mainstream conservatives, and I would also say far-right conservatives, you could see their patience waning thin this week because you had Rush Limbaugh basically saying the president's caving. You had Laura Ingraham saying bring on the shutdown. You had these Republicans who usually sing Donald Trump's praises basically telling him, look, you need to be a little bit stronger on this and you need to figure out your message. And I think the thing that's really important here is that President Trump said he wanted a wall and he promised that to people. And even though there are all these Republicans who say we could get a lot of border security money out of Chuck Schumer if you would just kind of give up this idea of a wall, he promised this to so many people, and it was a simple thing that he used as a messaging rhetoric that he can't let go.
Amy, he can't seem to, the reason he doesn't have his wall is because the Republicans won't give it to him. That's who has denied him his wall for 2 years, and then now we're at the end of this thing.
Right, and there is this inability to get a win. Right? If you're the great negotiator who's going to get the deal, or to at least make what's not a great deal look better in a PR way, he's had plenty of opportunities to do that. And on the question of have mainstream Republicans left him, they did. In 2018, he lost every suburban county. Orange County, that's about, well, that used to be the most conservative of conservative, and now it's mainstream conservatives. They're all gone, and they're not coming back. So his path to 2020 now goes through the small-town, rural America vote, which he believes that the wall is the thing to get them motivated on this. But if there's no wall at the end of the day and nothing, and he's not selling the other parts of his message because he's so focused on, I got to get this done, then what does he have to sell in 2020 to those voters who want to keep voting for him?
By the way, there's a big picture reminder here. This is the end of the Republican House.
Yeah.
They came in with a near budget shutdown in the first 100 days, Joshua. They leave after 3 shutdowns this year. They ousted a speaker in the middle. In many ways, Donald Trump is you could argue, the Freedom Caucus president.
Yes.
In a way.
In a way. And this is what it's gotten.
Failed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, which they said they would do on day one. It's changed a little bit, but it is still in place. I'm beginning to, and I think the wall is a serious thing. One of the key rules in television, show, don't tell. Mm-hmm. Right? It's nice that you've got all these things that are done on paper. It's nice that you have all these things you can talk to people about. But a wall is a visual reminder. We put this guy in office to do big things, and look at that big thing he did. It's a testament to the person that I believed in, that I voted for, who was going to shake up Washington. I do not see how Donald Trump will let this go, because it is a signature achievement that he can point to and say, see what I did. I think for a president who we know was kind of raised on broadcasting, that's how he made it to this point, I don't see, A, how he lets the wall go, or B, how a Democrat who can challenge him without saying, vote for me because I can beat the snot out of Donald Trump and we're going to march him down Pennsylvania Avenue. I feel like the next 2 years, regardless of who runs the House and the Senate, is going to be very much about the optics of 2020. What are you going to see? at the end of 2020 that will make you feel like you spent your vote well or you wasted your time at the ballot box.
And a senior administration official was telling reporters yesterday the #1 promise that Donald Trump made was to deliver this wall. That's why we're not giving it up. What Joshua was talking about is something that they're literally saying out loud. And I think Democrats are going to have to find somebody, maybe Julian Castro, if he's someone who's going to be maybe a little bit more biting, because I think what the Democratic base is looking for is someone that's going to be in-your-face kind of candidate, someone who's not going to be at all nice, who's not going to at all be passive, and someone who's going to say, look at my ideas, and I'm going to beat the sun out of this guy.
You said something during the Kavanaugh hearing. You said if they back off on Kavanaugh, it'll be a disaster for the Republican Party. If he backs off this wall, is his base gone? No.
This is where people misread the Republican Party. 5% of the base is gone. It is overstated, overvalued, overheard, but this shutdown, if he defines it as Chuck Schumer is keeping the government shut over $5 billion out of $4 trillion of outlays, he wins. Whatever he gets in the end, and what Dick Durbin told you, the news out of this show, is that the Democrats will raise the money if they'll change the wording. President Trump should take that and get the fentanyl stopped. You can go point at that new point of entry. He should take that deal.
He's afraid of making it look like a cave. That's because it's not about the wall. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody around this table. Happy and merry. And that's all we have today. Merry Christmas to all of you that celebrate it. We hope you have a safe and restful holiday break. As for us, we'll be back next week because we're not shut